Hey there guitar players, it's Anthony here at Cutting Edge Guitar. Welcome to another lesson here on the YouTube channel. What I want to talk to you about today is a rather big subject that I get asked about very often, and it's about how to articulate chord changes as they go by. Now this is, like I just said, it's a rather big subject that takes a lot of explaining, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to outline in this first video how I start my students off on this process, and in the second video, which will be coming out in a few days time, I'll show you about how you develop vocabulary shall I say, around it, and all of that good stuff. Now if you are looking for more information, I will show you exactly how to get that later on, but obviously there's only so much that I can do here on the YouTube stuff. I talk about all of this stuff at the Cutting Edge Guitar online platform. I do it in the Advancing Guitarist course, I do it in Cracking the Fretboard Code, but also as well support my students a lot more in the Cutting Edge Guitar Mastery Club, so I'll talk to you all about that later if you want more of this kind of thing. So, first and foremost, outlining chord progressions. Well, if you're going to outline a chord progression, you need to know the chord progression that you are outlining. So, first and foremost, let's have a look at this. This is a chord progression that I want to be talking about in this lesson, that we're going to basically outline using the fundamental scale that all guitar players know, which would be the minor pentatonic scale. Now when I say all guitar players know this scale, you may not know them in the 5 caged positions, which is what will allow you to be able to outline this chord progression in one part of the guitar neck. So what exactly does that mean? This is the first place that I start my students off. So let's talk about this. So let's imagine that we are wanting to outline this chord progression around the 5th fret area of the guitar. So what we have in front of us here on the fretboard diagram, we can see the 3 highlighted red notes are the A root notes of the key of the A chord. So like again, if I go back to this, the first chord that we're going to encounter is an A minor 7. So to be able to outline an A minor 7 chord, I need to know first and foremost, before anything else, where the A notes live on my guitar. And they're of course here, here, and here in this position. That is the 5th fret on the 6th string, the 7th fret on the D string, and then the 5th fret on the high E string. Okay, so first and foremost, I need to know that before I can even start to figure out anything else. Now what that tells me is that if I wanted to be able to play a lead guitar concept, everyone's favorite lead guitar concept is the minor pentatonic scale. So that means that I would be playing A minor pentatonic in position 1, or the E shape of the caged system. Now again, I'm not going to do a massive overview of the caged system, all the chords that fit behind it, how you align the pentatonic scales of the chords, the arpeggios, you know, all of that. That is a lot of information. That is something that I would do at the Cutting Edge Guitar platform. But if you already know the caged system and all of that stuff, you will understand what this means. If not, I do genuinely suggest that you go to the links in my bio so you can really get this solidified. But what that means anyway, for those of us that are going to be able to understand exactly what the caged system is and all of that, I would be able to, in this position of the guitar neck, outline an A minor 7 chord with an A minor pentatonic scale. I've just added a few flat 5s in there so that it was a blues scale rather than a minor pentatonic, but you get the idea. Now, our chord progression I was talking about is going to go to the C minor 7 chord next. That is the next chord that we are going to see, okay? So what I would want to do next, if I was going to be outlining that chord progression, I'd want to be able to play the C minor pentatonic scale, position 5, G shape. Now, how do I deduce that? Well, first and foremost, I'm going to stay in the same position of the guitar neck. So what I need to do first and foremost is find where there is a C. There is one here at the 8th fret on my 6th string. I've then got one again at the 5th fret on my G string, and then I've got one again at the 8th fret on the high E string. Okay, once I know that I've got those interval relationships or root note relationships will spell out to me that I'm in shape 5 of the caged system. So therefore that means that I can play this pentatonic position 5 that we're seeing here. It looks and sounds like this on the guitar. Okay, so then the next chord in our progression, we're going to go from the C minor into a D minor 7. So how I would look at doing that, staying within the same position on the guitar neck, I'm now going to look first and foremost for the Ds. So there is a D root note at the 5th fret on the 5th string, and then there is one at the 7th fret on the 3rd string. So that would be here and here. That interval relationship of the root notes tells me that I would be in D minor position 4, A shape. Okay, so therefore if I want to outline that as a lead guitar sound, I'm going to be playing shape 4 of the minor pentatonic scale, which you can see on the screen right now. Okay, so the next chord in our progression is going to go to F minor 7. So therefore what I'm going to do, repeating the process, if I go through to find out where my F root notes are, I've got one at the 8th fret on the A string and then also at the 6th fret on the B string. So that is here and here. And that tells me that I'm in F minor pentatonic position 3, C shape, which I would play as this. And then finally, if I just go to the final chord in our progression, I'm going to be looking for a G minor 7. So again, if I just scroll this through, G minor. First and foremost, what I need to do is look for my G root notes. So I would have one at the 5th fret on the D string, and then of course at the 8th fret on the B string. Okay, so therefore that is telling me that I am in G minor pentatonic position 2, D shape, okay, or shape 2 of the minor pentatonic scale in the key of G. So if I was to play that through, it comes out like this. Just sliding that down to the G root so it sounds good, but effectively, right, here's the thing, there will be many guitar players, I'm sure, that will look at this just going, how on earth are you getting to this conclusion, whatever. And like I said, this video would be way too long if I was to do a fully comprehensive overview of the cage system and how it's all to work. But effectively, you find the root notes, and then around your root notes you will build, you can build the root notes, around the root notes should I say, you can build the scaffold of basic minor chords, minor 7 chords, major 7 chords, dominant 7 chords, then you can align to it your minor pentatonic, major scale modes of the major scales, all of that stuff. Like, you can do absolutely anything with it. But it all starts with knowing the notes. Like, if you're trying to play through a chord progression that looks like this, and you don't even know where there is an A on the fretboard or a C on the fretboard or a D on the fretboard, basically you're absolutely screwed. Which is why the very first thing that I get my students to when they go, I want to be able to play through changes and articulate chords as they go by, I'm like, you need to know the notes on the neck. From the notes on the neck, we can do interval relationships and things like that, build up the chords, etc. And then finally be able to play through it. But anyway, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to stick that chord progression on. So if I just click play on my iReal Pro backing right now, you'll hear a chord progression of that going by. And it's going to go by in triplet feel, 12/8 time. So you're hearing each chord go by. So that's now on your D minor 7, then into the F, going into the G, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to articulate those changes just by playing those pentatonic scales over the top. So we've got A, C, D, F, G, okay. Now that is absolutely the process that I take my students through when I'm getting them to learn how to, first and foremost, before you can play vocabulary over these things, be able to just actually hit the tones of the changes as they go by. Now you can do this with modal scales, you can do it with arpeggios, you can do it with all sorts of stuff, but doing it with a pentatonic is a good place to start, because of course pentatonics is what we all roughly know right from the word go. If you don't even know the 5 shapes of the minor pentatonic, you're going to really struggle with all of this. But anyway, the point is that's the process. So if you need more help with all of that sort of thing, first things first, you need to subscribe to this channel, because I'll be building on this into the next video. But also on top of that, you really ought to be going to the Cutting Edge Guitar platform, where I've got all sorts of courses and products that go really, really in depth into all of this kind of subject that will help you out way more than I possibly can do here on the YouTube channel. Okay guys, that's it for this lesson. I hope you've enjoyed it. Drop me a line in the comments if there's anything else that you want some help with, etc. Drop a like on it, that's really, really helpful for me, and also do subscribe to the channel, because that will, one, help me out massively, but also mean that you will get the notification when I do the follow-up to this lesson. Okay guys, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.